A school board in Minnesota voted earlier this month to provide extra pay to non-white teachers if they agreed to mentor other non-white teachers. According to documents, this designed as a retention strategy for teachers of color and teachers who are American Indian, and to reduce isolation and increase collegial support opportunities.
When you're one of a majority, it can be very isolating and lonely. To have a support system in place for them is not to segregate them. It is absolutely to support them.
Joining me now is Cynthia, Garrett, education activist and host of the Session TV series and podcast. So, Cynthia, isn't this un-American and racist in its policy?
It's completely racist, Sean, and I love the language of racism. We want to support them. We want to make them feel good. If they don't feel, it's such liberal policy disguised as we care about you, feel good BS. And it's an attempt to return to something dangerous. And I got to tell you, makes me think about Ruby Bridges. You know, because November was the anniversary of November 14th, I believe it was, 1960, when a tiny little 6-year-old Black child became the first child to integrate a school in the South, in New Orleans. And, you know, she went to school with 4 federal marshals. She had people throwing stuff at her and screaming at her and bringing coffins to school with Black baby dolls. And only one teacher would teach her, Mrs. Barbara Henry. Now, they were in a classroom alone, Sean, and I'm sure Mrs. Henry felt unsupported and isolated, just like Ruby did. But you know what they did? They sucked it up and they put on their big girl pants and they found support in each other, because that's what integration is about. It's about understanding that support comes in all ages, races, shapes, and sizes. I don't need only Black people to support me. Yes, you can find something in common with people that look like you, but that's not what we're really here for. What about the big melting pot of America? This is a country that is built on a shared experience. And Ruby Bridges, her foundation is so beautiful because the whole point of her foundation is to actually celebrate the sharing of our differences and to attack racism through integration, not through segregation. This little 6-year-old child had more strength than these grown-ups today?
Yes, absolutely. But Cynthia, you know, Democrats, they have a long history of supporting slavery and then segregation. Is this just another chapter out of their book where they support racism again in whether it was 150 years ago or now today with policies like this?
It's completely another chapter out of the same playbook. And I don't know why Blacks are not up in arms in general, and Native Americans and anybody else of color, because this same language that these people are using in this school board meeting will be used in exactly the same way as it slides down this slippery slope to, well, these children don't feel good and they need to be around other kids of the same color. Let's go back to segregation because it's about them feeling supported. Yeah. What is this? Really, what is this? Cynthia, Ruby Bridges says it best, quote, racism is a grown-up disease and we got to stop using our kids to spread it.
Cynthia, you were so spot on. I mean, segregation, division never works. Let's talk about what brings us together, what unifies us. But listen, thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate it.